This might be the first year in Bee-Swarm history where we receive a Halloween update. New quest givers, new items, possibly even new areas. It might just happen. You guys might think it's not even possible. Trust me, it is. I got a fair amount of evidence that this could be happening. So that's why in this video, I'll be explaining why I think we'll be getting a Halloween update this year, when it's going to be released, and what new things are going to be in it. Alright, so starting off, why in the world do I even think there's going to be a Halloween update in the first place? It's kind of a crazy assumption. Except not really. Well, for starters, I'm just gonna slap the biggest piece of evidence on the table right now. If you actually go and check Onett's profile right now, literally as I'm recording this video, Onett is currently in studio working on his test game. If you didn't know, Onett's test game is basically, well, his test game. It's where he sticks all of his updates and basically works on the game to test if everything's working out smooth. If it works out good, then he puts it in the test realm so that way we can test it, and then he puts it in the main game. So the fact that he's already testing or at least making new things is already crazy. Keep in mind, in pretty much every single year, Onett's never actually online until about November, because that's when he basically starts working on Beesmas. But for some reason right now, he's on in the middle of October. And keep in mind, this isn't the first time. For about the past week, Onett has been updating his test game, constantly going in and out of the studio. So if he's in the game this early, I'd assume that it actually might not be Beesmas, but a Halloween update. Now you also might be thinking, well, there's no way he could get the update out in time, because Halloween is in about 10 days. But here's the thing, back in the early days of Bee-Swarm Simulator, Onett used to release updates every couple of weeks, and not once a year like he does these days. No offense to him, by the way, he still works very, very hard. But my main point is that if he really wants to, he doesn't have to take that long making an update. So though it could be small, when I'm talking about a Halloween update, he could just release some cool new things. Say, for example, some sort of new bee type, maybe some sort of pumpkin bee. He's already proven in past days that he can make an update in just a couple of weeks, so why can't he do it now? Especially with a brand new team. I know I already made a video on this, but Onett recently added another member into his studio, which is basically the group that helps make Bee-Swarm Simulator updates. Why in the world would he choose to add someone right now? It's kind of a random time. It might not be a coincidence that it's right around Halloween. He could be trying to create a Halloween update right at this very moment and needed extra help, which is why he added someone else to his studio to help work on the new update. Now, as for the day when this thing would be released, now in most Roblox games, most Halloween updates end up releasing somewhere around early October, but Onett doesn't really work like that. Because if we take a look at Beesmas, it usually almost always comes either Beesmas Day or about the day after. So if Onett actually releases this update, I would assume that it's releasing either the day of Halloween itself or November 1st or 2nd, somewhere around that tiny little time frame, if he releases one. Now, what would actually be released in this Halloween update? There's a lot of potential for a lot of cool things Onett could release. Well, there's new bees, for example. I mean, before, in the early days of Bee-Swarm, Onett would usually create tiny little events with bees. There was the Tabby Bee event, there was the Bear Bee event, there was the Red and Blue Bee update, all of which added new bee types. So I feel like it's possible he could add some sort of like cute little pumpkin bee or something. And just like Pet Simulator X used to do, rest in peace, he could release some sort of event area just for the time being. You know, like some sort of Halloween area where there's some sort of new field and maybe a temporary quest giver. And you know, he'd have a little timer on the side of the screen like he does during Beesmas. Here's a little concept I made for a brand new area that could be released. And then there's also just Halloween exclusive bee quips that he could release. Or maybe just tiny little usable items. I definitely designed a couple of those last year. And I mean, if Onett's made custom bee quips for Beesmas, he might even make them for Halloween. As for the name of the update, I mean, the Bee-Swarm Christmas update has its own name. It's called Beesmas. So what would the Halloween update be called? Well, Honey Bee would work, but another name I like a whole lot more would be HONEYWEEN. I don't know, if you guys have any better suggestions, go leave them down in the comments or something, and then argue with people that don't agree with you. But anyways, there's no real way to know for sure if this is gonna happen, but Onett is in the studio right now, which means he's working on an update, which can only mean one thing: new leaks. And those leaks are going to be coming soon, and I promise you I'll be making a video on it the second a new leak drops. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that video. Thank you so much for watching your favorite White Hive, and I will see you guys in the next video.